Hello, and a very warm welcome to the English Story Nook. We are so glad you could join us today. Today, we're diving into a story about complicated feelings and difficult choices. Get ready to discover a story about a woman who finds herself caught between the comfortable, familiar love she has and a new, exciting connection that makes her feel more alive than ever before. Before we dive in, if you enjoy our stories and want to support what we do, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and consider buying us a coffee on Ko-fi. There's a link in the description below. Every like, subscription, and small contribution helps us keep creating great content for English learners like you. And now to the story, 3 Chairs in a One-Bedroom Flat. Monique Quevedo's one-bedroom flat had 3 dining chairs. It was a small detail, but it bothered her. There was one for her, one for her boyfriend, Saidali, and a third that was supposed to be for guests. Lately, however, it felt like the chair was waiting for one specific person, Gunilla. The third chair was a problem, a quiet symbol of a life that felt too small for the feelings it was starting to contain. Monique and Saidali had been together for 4 years, and their life was comfortable, predictable, and safe. But then Gunilla had joined her team at Lantivar Solutions, and suddenly the world felt more colorful and exciting. One Tuesday evening, Saidali came home with news. "I have to go to the Frankfurt office for a week," he announced, kissing the top of her head. "The trip is confirmed for tomorrow." He saw the disappointment on her face. "Hey, why don't you invite your new friend over? Gunilla, right? It's not good for you to be alone all week." He was trying to be thoughtful, but he had no idea what he was suggesting. He couldn't see the complicated feelings Monique was trying to hide. The idea was both terrifying and thrilling. So, she did it. 2 nights later, Gunilla was sitting in the third chair, a glass of wine in her hand, laughing. The sound filled the small flat with a new energy. They talked for hours, about their jobs, their dreams, and their pasts. The connection between them was immediate and powerful. It was different from the comfortable love she shared with Saidali. This was a vibrant spark that made her feel truly seen. When Gunilla left, Monique stood alone in her living room. The air still felt electric. She looked at the 3 chairs and felt a wave of guilt. The third chair was no longer just an extra piece of furniture. It was a choice she had to make. In the days that followed, Monique's friendship with Gunilla grew stronger. At work, their conversations became more personal. They discovered a mutual interest in old films and spicy food. Their attraction was also mutual, an unspoken truth that existed in their long looks and easy laughter. One afternoon, Gunilla mentioned she was looking for a new apartment. "This city is so expensive," she sighed. "But I want a place that feels alive, you know? Something vibrant." Monique felt a strange mix of hope and fear. What would it mean if Gunilla lived closer? The situation felt increasingly unstable. That night, Saidali called. His voice sounded far away, not just because of the bad connection. He talked about their future, about saving for a bigger apartment with a proper dining room. "No more third chair problems," he joked. Monique looked at the empty chair at her table and felt a deep sadness. She couldn't keep her feelings so ambiguous anymore. It wasn't fair to anyone. "Are you happy, Mon?" Gunilla had asked her over lunch. Monique could only hesitate, and her hesitation was an answer in itself. She knew she needed to stop pretending everything was fine. On Friday, Gunilla asked her out for a drink after work. At a small, noisy bar, Gunilla looked directly at her. "There's something between us, isn't there?" she asked, her voice clear and steady. "I'm not imagining it?" Monique's heart was beating fast. This was the moment. She could lie or she could be honest. She decided on honesty. "No," she said, and she did not hesitate. "You're not imagining it." A silent, mutual understanding passed between them. They didn't know what would happen next, but the secret was finally out in the open. They went back to Monique's flat to talk more. And that's when the key turned in the door. Saidali walked in, holding a small bouquet of flowers, a big smile on his face. "I'm home early! Surprise!" His smile faded as he saw Gunilla and the serious, tense expression on Monique's face. He looked from Monique to Gunilla, then back to Monique. He didn't understand what was happening, but he knew it was serious. The happy surprise was now a heavy, awkward silence. "What's going on?" Saidali asked, his voice quiet. Monique knew she had to confront the situation right now. She couldn't run from it. This was the moment of truth, standing between the two people who represented two different possible lives. "Saidali," she began, her voice shaking slightly. "We need to talk." She had to confront her own heart, and she had to be honest with him. Gunilla stood up, ready to leave, but Monique asked her to stay. She wanted everything to be open. Taking a deep breath, Monique explained her confused feelings for Gunilla. She told Saidali that what she felt was genuine, but that she was lost. She didn't want to hurt him, but she couldn't continue lying. It was the hardest conversation of her life. Saidali was visibly hurt, but he listened. He was a good man, and his love for her was genuine, even if hers had become complicated. The conversation was long and painful, filled with tears and difficult silences. The atmosphere was no longer ambiguous. It was painfully clear. In the end, there was no easy answer. They agreed that they needed some time apart. Saidali packed a bag to stay with his brother. After he closed the door behind him, the flat was quiet. Monique and Gunilla sat down at the small table, in two of the three chairs. The future was uncertain, but the decision to be honest felt right. It was not a happy ending, but it was a genuine one. Outside, the lights of the city were bright and vibrant. For the first time in a long time, Monique felt that her life, with all its messy, difficult choices, was her own. The third chair was empty again, a symbol not of a problem, but of possibility. That's the end of our story for today. It shows how life can sometimes be very complicated and confusing. What do you think is more important in a relationship? Comfort and safety, or excitement and passion? Share your ideas in the comments below. And don't forget to check the description box for helpful resources to continue your learning. Thank you for listening and learning with us today at the English Story Nook. Keep up your amazing effort. We are excited to see you again in the next story. Goodbye for now.